Hello.
Welcome. Hello. This meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2014, at 4 p.m. is called to order. Just a moment of silence to reflect on our duties as selectmen. And if you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, in accordance to Mass General Law 30A, Section 20E, I do need to ask if anyone else is recording this meeting other than LCAT. Seeing none, we will proceed. We have such a long agenda today, and I'm glad to see that we all made it to this day. Unfortunately, the reason that we're here, but I'm glad we're here. I'm going to call the planning board up to make their announcements of who they would like to have us appoint.
Well, actually, you want to?
Question first.
Sure.
Where do we stand as far as the planning board member?
What do you mean?
I mean,
Are you 3 members or 4 members right now?
well,
Through the board, through the chairman.
last Selectmen's meeting, our town council was looking for guidance through the Attorney General's office.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's heard anything through them. If he hasn't.
As far as
Have we heard anything?
whether there's 3 of you voting or 4 of you voting?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. But what do you say?
Actually, part of my thought was, I don't know if we've heard anything as far as the appointment. I know we have at least 3 members right now. There was 2 members that were eligible that should have been on the ballot. One of them was a 5-year term.
Right.
Are we appointing one to a 5-year term? Because the way I see it was there was only one candidate that received votes for a 5-year term. The other candidate was ineligible on the ballot, and I believe that's where our town council was looking for some guidance on it.
My understanding is because he did resign, when he resigned, he's no longer on that 5-year, and so he was going to be appointed.
My question is, how can you resign from a position that you could have never won? Because legally, he was on the ballot incorrectly.
Right.
He only returned papers for a 1-year term.
Right.
So you can't resign from something you shouldn't
They've
have
never
won.
had.
And if he wasn't legally on the ballot, then there's no way for him to win. So the only candidate that received the most votes would have been write-in candidate Michael Carabetta, who was the one that should have been there. So it's my thought that he should be appointed to a 5-year term as the only eligible candidate that was there, instead of, I think that's only fair. He ran unopposed.
If I may, through the chair.
You certainly may.
From what we gathered from our town attorney, that's not the case. I know Tom had heard from the state that it was the state that told him to have Ty resign,
Right.
Be sworn in and resign. But as of our last meeting, our town attorney said it was our job today. And actually, if I digress for a second.
There he is.
There he is? Okay.
I tell you, right on cue.
But
Please come up, Attorney Donahue. The question. The
sorry.
question is, would you like to repeat what you said so eloquently, Mr. Page?
At the last meeting, the Board of Selectmen's meeting, you were waiting for any further guidance from the Attorney General. Secretary of State, sorry. My question is, did we receive any guidance? Because when I called the Elections Department, they said this was a local matter to be held on the local level. If it's to be held, go ahead.
Just to answer your question, I had said I was waiting for a response from the General Counsel for the Division of Elections of the Secretary of State's office, and I've received no further guidance from the Secretary of State. So that being the case, I think we have to resolve it based on what we decide as a community we want to do to handle this situation.
What
As
Mr.
a
Page
community.
had suggested was that since Mr. Carabetta was the only person that received legitimate votes, seeing that Ty Richards was not able to be running for a 5-year term, that Mr. Carabetta should be appointed to the 5-year term.
I don't think you can do it.
If I may,
Yeah.
through the chair, I think you said last time we were going to appoint each of them for a 1-year term.
For 1 year, right.
That's what, that was the purpose of this meeting.
Right.
Right.
To run again in April.
Right.
Yeah, for
But
Mike
what
to run again
Mr.
next
Page
April.
is saying is he's trying to find out if there's a possibility for him to be appointed to a 5-year term.
Well, here's
but
the
if I-
problem, if I can,
Okay.
that we have. First of all, it's the decision of the clerk and the registrars as to who is the winner of an election,
Okay,
all right? And so there was a determination made, if not officially declared, at least in our actions, in that the person receiving the most votes, Mr.
Ty Richards.
Richards, was given the oath of office to that position.
Right.
So really, it's not a decision for the Board of Selectmen or the Planning Board as to who or what position should or might better be filled by some action.
Mhm.
It's what you can do based on the status of the current situations and the law, which is that you have a vacancy in the current 5-year term, basically because the person who was elected at the election, whether properly or improperly, was recognized as the winner and sworn in to that position.
Okay,
He having resigned, there's now a vacancy in that 5-year term, which can be filled under the statute by your joint boards for a period of 1 year. But to go beyond that and move into the area of the decisions by the registrars or the town clerk as to who should or what should have been done is beyond the scope of what your boards can do in this situation. Although I understand the desire to correct a technical error, it is more a significant substance to correct than just
doing it.
deciding where to fill a position.
Okay, so we're right back where we started. And so would you like to make your would the board like to make their recommendations at this time to the Board of Selectmen?
I think,
I'd like to recommend Tide for a 1-year position,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd also like to recommend Mike for a 1-year position.
Okay. So that recommendation has made. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So moved, but,
Wait a minute, yes.
I'm sorry.
I think the
You have to do them
motion
separately,
has to
don't
be
you?
clarified a little bit in the sense that Mr. Richards would be nominated for consideration for a 1-year term to fill the 1-year
Position.
balance of an existing 1-year term. And Mr. Carabetta would be nominated or recommended for appointment to
For the
fill
5-year.
1 year
Of the
Of the
a
5-year.
5-year term that is vacant.
does the planning board need to open their own meeting to do this, or us being at the selectmen's meeting?
In order to, you both have to be in open session, yes.
Okay, so then I'll wait for you to open.
I'd like to open up the April 21st, 2014.
22nd.
22nd
Mm-hmm.
Meeting of the planning board in conjunction with the selectmen's meeting.
And proposed recommendations is?
And I'd like to make recommendations on Tide Richards to fill the balance of the 1-year balance position for a planning board. And then I'd like to make a motion to, a appointment for Michael Carabetta to fill the 1 year of the 5-year position.
Okay. Hearing that recommendation, I'll entertain the motion to accept it.
So moved.
Do we need a
Oops.
second?
They should, if I might, Madam Chairman,
No,
the
I'm in
planning
school.
board should second that, someone should second that motion, they should vote on the motion.
then it
And
comes.
then the board will recommend to the Board of Selectmen their candidates for the position, and if the board has any candidates that they would like to nominate, you could at that point in time nominate your
I'll second Sandro's motion to recommend.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Now that recommendation is being brought forward to the Board of Selectmen for consideration at a joint meeting of the board.
Are you saying that he has to say that again?
The motion, no.
Okay, all right. So having heard the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion to accept it,
So moved.
and I'll second out of necessity. Any discussion?
Nope.
Looking forward to it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries unanimously.
You need to vote.
The planning board did vote.
We voted to recommend the candidate.
Voted to recommend.
Yeah, they did.
And now there's
Now
a
we need to
vote
vote.
on the actual appointment to the two positions.
So
All in favor?
Sandro, you didn't know you'd be working this much, did you?
I'll move to make the actual appointment from the planning board side.
Second.
To accept the appointment.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's done.
Okay.
Okay. Well, with that,
Congratulations.
that,
Thank you very much.
well, may I?
You both need to be sworn in before you can.
Congratulations. We'll have the swearing in. Ty?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Sorry about closed.
Well,
Good to see you.
we'll go ahead and do the swearing in now, if we would.
Move to close
well,
this meeting.
okay.
The
The planning board's gonna close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Planning board's closed.
Come on up and, we'll close after.
Oh, okay.
Oh. There you go. Come on up, Mr. Clerk.
We're both going at the same time? Yeah.
Step to the side.
Tom, good. I don't know if he's gonna get in here or do it over there.
Oh, are you gonna do it over there, or are you gonna step in, Tom? You gonna do it over there, or you gonna step in?
Okay.
Whatever's your pleasure. Okay.
I'm not telling
That's what I mean, all you get is a back one. Got a lunar eclipse.
you. Yeah.
Okay, certainly.
Of course you are.
Raise your right hand. Do you, Tyler Richards and Michael Carabetta, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as members of the East Long Meadow Planning Board in accordance with the bylaws of the town of East Long Meadow and the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you. Okay.
Just sign the Bible and you're good to go.
I tried.
Either one.
Okay.
I don't know how to turn this off. Angela, I don't know how to turn it off. I don't have my glasses on.
Very good. And you got one more other thing.
Oh, good. I do.
And today's the 22nd.
22nd.
And then if you want to sign
How are you, Mr. Pam?
here, you want to sign.
Right there.
So. Eighth row.
You did a good job.
You had 18. This is the sign because usually my clients.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
And then you get this here to look at and add your convenience.
Okay.
It's a boring reading material.
Get on that right away.
It's about open meeting laws.
What would you like?
Yeah, so we skip along. Go right to 4:22. Sign underneath, and I'll take care of everything else. You don't have.
Okay, that's it?
That's for you.
So,
You've seen
having-
that before. And good turn the second page.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Very good. Thank you.
So
Mike.
having gone through all of our agenda for the day, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll second out a necessity. All in favor? Aye. Any discussion? Okay, we already voted anyway, kind of out of order. Thank you. That was
Okay, I would like to open the April 22nd, 2014 Planning Board meeting due to reorganization of the board. We just conducted a meeting with the Select Board to reappoint Michael and Tide to their respective positions, each being a year. And now we're going to reorganize the board.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Michael Carabetta as chairman for the planning board. One at a time.
One at a time. I would like to second that motion.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Because we're missing somebody out of sequence, it makes sense. But I would also like to hear whether or not Sandro is interested, since he was the vice chair last year.
I would like to decline, as I just don't have enough experience right now. I think Mike's more qualified right now, and we'll see what happens next year.
Sounds good.
I'll call for a vote.
I would like to call for a vote for Michael to be chairman once again.
Aye in favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0, or 4-0, correct? 5-0. Would that be 5-0?
Oh, I could have voted. I kept thinking I wasn't on yet. I didn't think I had to be appointed. I had to have my position. Excuse me.
I'm going to make a motion.
I've already been sworn in. Aye.
All right, I'm going to make
Sorry, Mike.
a motion to appoint Tide as our clerk. We're continuing our respective places. Because Tide is at the end of his tenure, I think when he's ready in the next year or so, when you're ready to take over, I will be glad to step aside. Then we'll be back, I think, in the right chronological order as far as the rotation goes.
Now, I don't have to take over next year if I don't want to, right?
No, I'm just kind of putting all the cards on the table, because in essence, you are next in line, but, when you're ready to take over, when you want to take over, I will be glad to step aside.
I think it's just
All right,
fine
well, I'm
the way
just,
it is.
okay. So anyways, I'll nominate Tide for clerk of the planning board.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll nominate Sandro for vice chair.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye. And
I'll make
now
a
we-
motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start the April 22nd, 2014 planning board meeting. It's being recorded by Don Mackey for LCAT. Robin McDonald, our director. Is anybody else here recording it? And if so, what affiliation? All right, seeing none, we're going to get right into it. First thing is discussion, lease on rental storage, signage. I'd like to sit in the hot seat and, do you have any reading the record?
No, they're
Okay.
bringing it all tonight.
All right, then it's entirely up to you, Mr. Chaplin.
From the
Got him?
We can share.
Just gonna have another copy of that. Thank you.
Was PVC trim, what is it, AZAC?
yes.
Okay.
All right, so you want to give us a kind of a rundown what you want to do?
What we would like to do,
I'll give you more.
Run the fence 6 feet off the property line on the left side of the property for the exit, and that's where the sliding gate would be. That would connect to the sign with a 4-foot fence, putting the sign 10 feet off the property line.
Which is our setback.
Yep. Then another 4-foot leg of fence going to the gate for the entry which slides to the right, puts that fence at 38 feet off the road, leaving room for cars to pull in with trailers.
So you got stacking.
Right.
Okay.
Which was a concern of Officer Bates, I believe. The sign sits on top of something that looks similar to this. It's a brick structure. We've made the structure smaller, a little less obtrusive. Made the sign a little narrower. The sign is 30.3 square feet, I think, it says on yours. I didn't write it on mine. I have the original here.
Okay.
The reason for that brick structure is to have the keypads to get in and out. Word on the street is that whenever you put those little keypads on the goosenecks, they get run over 3-4 times a year. Gives them a place to put some lighting for the sign and a post for the sign.
Now, when they pull in, can they hit the keypad, or they have to get out of the car to touch it?
They can hit the keypad. We would keep the concrete
Close
curb
enough.
under it close.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a question. The fence on the right, is that going to continue basically around the same, or are you going to come back out to the match the other way?
Is it good?
Yeah, I think after,
Jog
once
back out?
once it clears the 14-foot opening, I think then it's going to be a straight line.
No, then I was wrong. 'Cause I-
Okay.
It doesn't
All
really
right,
matter
so-
which way, because I mean, I had it going back up this way. That way this was even with that, so it's just notched there, but it doesn't matter
All right,
either
so
way.
on the right side, it's basically going to stay. You're not going to come back closer to the road. Not that it matters. I just want to get it,
Right.
just out in the open for the
Yeah, you'd
record.
be 14 and 14, right? With the gate. So the gate doesn't have to slide along the fence.
Well, no, it doesn't have to slide along to the fence, but I wouldn't want to have it
Oh,
hitting
going
the
back
fence.
out.
Yeah, right.
Right, okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any questions, or?
I do.
Uh-oh.
Could you go back to your picture of the sign?
Sure.
Are you gonna be showing a garage door on it? Or is that entire bottom gonna be brick with 2 lights on it and a keypad?
This structure is either brick or PVC. We're waiting for prices. And this panel is a metal panel.
To make it look like a garage door?
Right.
That's where my problem comes in with the board. As far as the definition of a sign, if it's anything that draws attention to it for the business, basically, that's considered part of the sign. Now, if that structure is considered part of the sign, he's exceeded the square foot limit.
Yeah, we changed the square foot to 99 square feet.
What is the square foot limit? Because there's a section at the end of the bylaw that says no more than 100 square feet.
Well, that's why I'm asking, I mean, has the entire sign, because you just said 33 square feet for the sign.
The sign is 33. If it's 100, this comes under by.
The whole thing comes under.
All
Correct.
right, the whole thing comes under.
Okay,
We're
that's
covered.
exact.
99.7, including the brick.
Okay. That's fine. As long
And-
as it comes in on 100, that covers
Conveniently.
our bylaw.
Just-
Considering it a ground sign, because a ground sign is 50 square feet. The 100 is for a building sign.
This is definitely, I would say.
This is
a ground sign.
it's a ground sign.
So that's where the difference lies.
The other question I would have on the dimensions is, on a ground sign, do we, like we do on a building sign, square it off? Or,
You can either square or rectangle.
so,
Do you mean to measure?
sorry?
Do you mean to measure?
Yeah, to get the square footage.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this case, if you made that a rectangle, you're not 30 square feet, you're like 46 square feet. Okay. And that's just the way we calculate things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you draw a line across
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Or this way. For example, if I may,
Certainly.
the bowling alley, where they have the bowling pins at the top, they measure to the top of the bowling pin and down, and the lettering is in here.
Okay, so in this case, because of the peaked roof, it would only be the peaked roof plus the area underneath.
Depending on what the lettering is. I don't see the letter. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it's the actual square footage.
right.
Okay.
Ralph?
No, I've just pulled up section 5.8 for industrial garden park for the ground signs, and clearly states 50 square feet. Like I said, our definition of sign is anything that basically draws attention in relation to the business. I mean, my concern is that, looking at that, I consider the whole unit a sign. If it was a plain brick base on it that didn't draw attention, it was just a brick so that you could put the keypad lighting on, I would say that just the top was the sign. That's my opinion on it.
George?
I disagree. There's no lettering on the green panel. I think, you know, we've been through this with gas stations, with buildings painting their building a uniform color before.
Yeah, Napa.
Napa, yeah. I think that's stretching it. I think these people are coming in with a reasonable size sign, and I personally would not consider, now you got a few more square inches for the address, but, you know.
Yeah. Don, any comments like that?
My only comment is, you can look at this both ways. You can look at the garage doors being part of the sign because storage lockers are all garage doors. Or you can look at it and say, hey, the bottom is just a base and the top is really the sign. So now the question is, how do you want to look at it? It's a big base, but I think the top is really the sign.
Donald?
I'm gonna have to agree with Tide. I don't think it's part of their logo anyways, the bottom part of it. It doesn't seem anything that's particular to their logo. I mean, the logo's on the top. It's got a lock in the east part of it. I think just the top's the sign. I'm going with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. What you're asking for is not unreasonable. I don't think we're gonna have traffic issues. The police have already signed off on it and/or looked at it as far as setbacks from the road, so it's not like you're gonna be blocking people's vision. So I don't think it's a hindrance enough to object to.
One question, is that the keypad's gonna be lit at night?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming there'll be some kind of lighting on that sign, or at least ground lighting up.
Right, there's two of them on there right now.
Oh, okay.
So if the square footage of the sign is 30.35 square feet. Okay.
All right, with the base, it'll be under 100. For the record anyways. All right, does anybody have anything else they'd like to add before we vote on it?
I simply disagree because of the wording in our definition. I think the base calls attention to it. I think it's clearly stated under our definition. And I would just respectfully disagree.
That's quite all right. All right, do I have a motion to approve the sign as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
4-1.
Okay.
All right, you are all set. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, one other thing I should mention, the fence cannot be more than 1/4 solid, but I think you already knew that, but I just want to state that for the record. Yes. Right.
Oh, yeah.
In the front. All right, I want to
And
make that up.
can I have the plan, do you have a set of plans, or? That's it?
She's gonna need a copy of these two,
That's
right?
it.
She doesn't want one copy of each.
Like one copy of each. And actually, a copy probably of that. Do we have a copy of that with the fence already on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do?
This from when we went for
That's
the
Gary's.
approval on
That's Gary's sign.
the entire project.
It just shows the fence in a little different location.
All
As long as
right,
we
what
have
about the picture that you had of this sign?
Did you submit this with your application?
We did.
Is that
But
the
that's
same?
changed.
I was gonna say
We've made
that's
it
changed.
smaller
Yeah,
since
so
then.
I need that,
So you need this altered.
yes.
Because that has incorrect measurements.
All right, yeah, with the correct measurements, I
Gotta
need
have
that
that
with
altered to
this,
reflect the distance.
so that I can have it for that, all right. And you're going to need to fill out a new sign application, so that the building inspector can give you a permit.
Got it.
All right, but if you bring it all to me, I'll put the decision together and send it to the building inspector.
Got it. Easy
Okay.
enough.
Thank you.
Okay,
All
thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes.
All right, you want to squeeze one in? We can do a request for waiver of site plan from McCray Consulting Solutions, 57 Marion Street.
Request for waiver of site plan review. Property owner is Mary McCray, 57 Meriden Street, East Long Meadow. There are phone numbers listed here. Name of proposed business is McCray Consulting Solutions. Owner of business is Mary McCray. Same address. Property address is 57 Merriam Street as well. Property district is C commercial. Allowed use is yes. Proposed hours of operation are 8 to 5. Number of employees including owner is 1. Date of last parking plan with a copy of same is not applicable. Summary of business operation, consulting with organizations by phone or off-site by strategic planning, training, etc. No clients go to home/business. And the application was signed and dated March 20th, 2014.
So this is the home office computer. Anybody have anything they would like to ask?
As long as you're not taking more than 20%.
George?
Yep, sounds good.
Todd?
I think it's fine.
No commercial vehicles.
Oh, yeah, there's no commercial vehicles. I think that should have been on there if it wasn't.
So there's no vehicles, or no one coming, no clients go to home and business.
I
It
thought
doesn't
we
say
had
anything
something
about-
on there for commercial vehicles, don't we? Maybe I'm-
That's what the decision says, isn't it?
All right, so can I get a motion for McCray Consulting on 57 Merriam Street?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That passes 5-0. All right, let's do one more. Request for waiver of site plan review, travel, I'm assuming that's with Paula G?
Travel with Paula.
65 Porter Road.
Requested for waiver of site plan approval, Robert and Paula Alger, 65 Porter Road. Phone numbers are listed here. Name of proposed business is Travel with Paula Jean. Owner of business is Paula Alger. The address 65 Porter Road. Property address is the same. Property District A. Allowed use has not been checked. Proposed hours of operation 9 to 5. Number of employees including owner is 1. Summary of business, travel agency, home office, no sign, no clients, computer use, phone use, no parking. The application's been signed and dated April 10th of 2014.
Another home office, computer work mainly. Anybody have anything they'd like to add?
I make a motion to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's see here, no signs. Let's jump to the last one, because that should be easy. East Long Meadow lacrosse plant sale fundraiser, Council on Aging parking lot, 2014.
Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow, Mass. Regarding plant sale fundraiser to benefit girls East Long Meadow lacrosse program. Attention Planning Board. I am writing this letter on behalf of the girls East Long Meadow Lacrosse Booster Club. We are planning to have a plant sale fundraiser on Saturday, May 10th, 2014, from 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. All proceeds benefit the girls East Long Meadow lacrosse program. Mike Sicordello of East Long Meadow Council of Aging Recreation Department has given us permission to use the parking lot for this event on Saturday. Mike advised me to notify Planning Department of this event. We would just be setting up table with plants to sell. We would sincerely appreciate your support of this event in order to raise very needed funds for the East Long Meadow Girls Lacrosse Program. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact me. There's a name and phone number. Signed, Carmela Bonavita.
Anybody have any issues with this?
Nope.
Joe,
No, I
Ralph?
think it's being held on a Saturday, so the Council of Aging's closed.
Right.
There should be plenty of parking area and all.
Yep, for a good cause.
My only question is signage. Did they talk about what they're gonna be putting?
There's no mention here of signage.
I mean, obviously, they're gonna put something up.
Yeah, we should just ask them, approve this and ask them what they're gonna do for signage. They need to come back for a sign. Did they need approval from us for this? or
When's their, hold on, when's their, it's May 10th, okay, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get together.
Yeah, that's fine. If it was like next week, I'd say just put it in there anyways.
Okay. All right, seeing no objections, do I have a motion to approve the lacrosse plant sale fundraiser at the Council on Aging?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up is our 615 signage request for Hambden County Physician Associates LLC, 94/98 Shaker Road.
Town of East Long Meadow sign permit application dated April 8th, 2014. Company name and owner, Hampden County Physicians Association, LLC. 98 Shaker Road. There are phone numbers listed here. Square footage of proposed sign, 30 square feet. Single face on wall. It is not freestanding. It is attached to the building. Projection, if any, none. If attached to the building, does the sign project over pedestrian, vehicular way? No. Setback from property line, 80 feet. Distance to nearest side yard line, 80 feet. Distance to top of sign, vertical wall, 13 feet. It will be illuminated. Is a permanent sign. Total number of existing signs are 4. Total square footage of existing signs, 93.75. Total number of proposed and existing signs, 4. Total square footage of proposed and existing signs, 108.75, which doesn't make any sense. The applicant, Gary Morin, has been signed. The estimated cost is $2,950, and that is it. Let's see what the sign looks like.
Michael Larry Levine is here to talk about it.
Sorry.
All right, so let's go back up. The square footage is what? 100?
Well, here's where my question is. It says total number of existing signs are 4. Total number of proposed and existing signs are 4, but the square footage increases from 93.75 to 108.75. So we just need a description of how that
Michael?
happens.
If you look,
Larry Levine is here for it.
Larry, would you like to come up and speak on the applicant's behalf, please?
I think there's another sheet attached to that which shows all the signs and the square footages.
Thank you.
Oh, you're right.
And if we add those up,
Yep,
that's
sorry.
where-
You're absolutely right.
Larry Levine for the applicant, and Zal Galway for the applicant as well. There should be an attachment there.
I think we,
The 93.75 to 108.75, well, there are 3 existing signs on the facade of the building, United Bank, Field Eddy, and Hampden County Physicians. There's also a freestanding ground sign, and that is 50 square feet. The other 3 signs, total right now are 93.75. That includes the ground signs. The sign for Hampden County Physicians is going to be increased by a little more than 15 feet. Right now, they have like 15.75. That's the reason the appendage to the application shows all of those signs. Would I have filled out the application slightly different? Yes. But
I thought so.
with the
Clarification always helps.
attachment, it was actually prepared by the sign company. With the attachment, I think it clears up the issue you had raised.
Okay, thanks.
I know, Ralph, you had some language that you actually helped with this.
Actually, business district, I'm assuming that we're in.
Yes.
I think so, yes.
Yes.
I was just trying to find, I know we've always gone by, the maximum square footage of all signs combined is 100 square feet. And so I was going back through to try and find exactly where the 100 square feet comes in.
5.82
Actually,
to 8.22, or 5.822.
actually, yeah, 5.822 talks about on the front of the building, the most you can have is 3 square feet in height per linear foot of building front. A sign on the exterior wall face, and it says no sign shall exceed 100 square feet in area.
Right, primary sign.
Primary sign. Now, 5.823 discussed, in no case, the very last line in 5.823 says, in no case will the total area of all signs exceed 100 square feet. But if you go back one sentence, it's talking about the directory signs. So if you have a building with, let's say, 15 businesses within it, each business is allowed a small sign. And from what I can understand, reading quickly here, is that directory sign can't be more than 100 square feet. I had always thought that all signs combined. And with reading this again,
Kind of
I'm not
differentiates.
convinced on it.
Okay. So in
Like I
essence,
said, and I'd like to hear what the board says, and Attorney Levine,
Yeah, I think that's one of those things over the years that's been interpreted different ways.
Yeah.
You know, you could probably argue both ways, but I think in the past we've done this, we've allowed this, and, you know, I'm looking at the drawings, I don't think it's gonna be, you know, we're rewriting the whole town bylaw here. You know, to go a few feet over one interpretation and be legal in another, I think would probably cover us as far as approving it. So, I mean, I personally don't have a problem with what's been presented to us as far as the way the bylaw reads and or is interpreted versus what we're going to approve.
I agree with you, Mr. Chairman. Clearly, large buildings with large numbers of individual businesses in them exist, where the total square footage of the signs is well over 100 square feet. I mean, just Stop and Shop Plaza or...
That's industrial.
Well, but, you know, even so.
The plaza next door.
Across the street, Big Y.
And the office building next door.
Yeah. You know, I think it's been interpreted that each
They're
sign
not business.
should not be more than 100 square feet, each individual sign. And there is an indication here of you know, how much area, or how many signs per linear foot of the building, I mean. So I think that to my mind, that covers it. This is a large building with a lot of people in it, and they're all entitled to.
You know, for argument's sake, the bylaw that we've had it existed for quite a while, it's worked, so, you know, we haven't really had any adverse effects from it, so.
You know, I'm gonna go forward with it, but I think the zoning review committee should probably clean up that language a little bit.
Definitely worth looking at.
Yeah, so I'll bring that to the committee the next time we get together.
You have a new one that's already been submitted by your committee.
I
That
wasn't sure if
states
we need to submit
the
it.
total signage,
Okay.
100
Yeah,
square
they
feet.
did.
Okay, well, from what I see right now, I'm not.
Yeah, no problem.
So it looks like we realize it's a little bit
Great.
gray, and we're cleaning that up right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, there's certain things we need to work on. Right, so, Sandra, do you have anything down before I?
Hold on.
I'm sorry, Mr. Levine.
If you're going to clean it up, and when I was first approached by the doctors on this issue, the first sentence in 5.823 leads to where it says there shall not be more than one exterior sign for each business. You combine that with 5.822, no sign shall exceed 100 square feet in area. And then you go to the last sentence in 5823, in no case will the total area of all signs exceed 100 square feet. When you have I think it's a preposition, each business, and you have the prior one, no sign, when each business is allowed one sign, and you have no sign shall exceed 100 square feet, I think the interpretation lends it that each business, each tenant within the structure can have on the facade no more than one sign and no more than 100 square feet in that sign. It's the inclination to clean that up in the town meeting once otherwise, but the way I read it and the opinion I gave to the doctors was the one that they could have up to 100 square feet. They're not even coming close. It's 36 square feet.
Yes.
30 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something we'll have to look at, but not tonight.
Okay.
All right,
I'm okay with the sign.
Make a motion to approve the sign request.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll do sign a request for EMA Dental, 16 Gerard Avenue.
You're welcome. Good to see you too. You take care. Thank you.
We're gonna do the dental one, just fill in some boards here.
Sign permit application, EMA Dental, 16 Gerard Avenue. Phone numbers are listed here. Total square footage of proposed signs, 26.25 square feet. It'll be a single-face sign. It'll be freestanding. It will not be attached to the building. It will be 3 feet above the ground. Excuse me. No projections. attached to the building to the sign, no, it does not. Setback from property line 15 feet, distance from side yard 30 feet, distance to top of sign, vertical wall, non-applicable. Proposed sign is permanent. Total number of existing signs is 1. Total square footage of existing signs, 26.25 square feet. Total number of proposed signs and existing signs is 1. Total square footage of proposed and existing signs, 26.25. The application has been signed. Estimated cost of the sign is $900. And that is it. Dated April 7th, 2014.
Someone needs all the, right there that needs. The building next to Front? Okay.
Okay, I know what it is.
Anybody have any issues with it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Replaces the other one, I think it's fine.
So a motion to approve the sign as presented.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can we jump to our 6:30 or a minute early?
Yes, you can.
Okay. We're going to jump to our 6:30, which is a special permit for David Schmidt, 66 Norton Street. Some things to read into the record. Certainly. I'm going to read some stuff in the record. We'll have you give your names and addresses, and
So don't worry about
we'll go
it.
from there.
This is just bigger.
Okay, thanks. The Planning Board of Town of East Long Meadow will hold a public hearing on April 22nd, 2014, at 6:30 in Town Hall Meeting Room, 60 Center Square, East Long Meadow, Massachusetts, on an application for a special permit submitted by David Schmidt for the property located at 66 Norton Street to add a 22 by 24 and a 14 by 8 addition to a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Information relating to this application is on file with the Planning Board for review by the public.
Okay, you want to give us a little kind of an overview of what you're going to do? If you can, state your name and address for the record.
My
please.
name is David Schmidt, 66 Norton Street. This is Bill LaPlante from LaPlante Construction. They'll be doing the work for us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Basically, does everybody have a copy of the plot plan?
We do.
Okay.
I think we're good.
It's an addition, proposed addition to a previously non-conforming structure. The addition was designed so that it did not encroach any more. It does not become more non-conforming than the existing structure. The project consists of the addition of a two-car garage and a family room with some renovations to the kitchen area and the dinette area. And on the plot plan, we show, again, we're maintaining that side yard requirement. We meet all the other requirements with regard to setback, side yard setback, and with the exception of the rear setback.
Right, which is already.
Which is already that
Yeah,
30.7,
okay.
which is the area that becomes the non-conforming
Yes,
lot line.
sun porch for
Yep.
the record. Okay. All right, so the only thing you're basically doing, you can continue with the non-conforming, but you're not increasing it.
Correct.
And the new setback is not going to encroach on that. And this is residence B, which is 15,000 feet,
Yes,
15-foot sideline,
yes.
and 35-foot rear yard.
Well, we
yes.
have, it's a corner lot.
Okay.
So it's two primaries
All right.
of 40 feet.
So you're encroaching a little less than 5 feet, but you, and this house was built in
57.
57, so it predates our 1962 bylaw.
The year I was born.
All right, does anybody want to have
I don't
any?
think so.
Ralph, I'll start with you.
Where's the driveway located? Is it on Nordstrom Street?
It's on Norton Street, yep.
Reason I ask is because it's not on the plan. Again, in the past, actually, there's a list of stuff that's supposed to be on the plan, and again, driveways, fences, lawn areas, and again, it's not the addition that I'm looking at, it's the plan that I'm looking at, and
Clerical part of it?
we've had this before, this discussion, and we still keep getting certified plans and don't even meet our own requirements. Again, the addition, pre-existing, non-conforming and all, I have no problems with that. I just think the plans don't meet our requirements of what we're asking for. And that's just, like I said, I guess it's a pet peeve on my part, but when you have a list of 8 items that are asked for and the surveyor only decides to put 3 or 4 or 5 on,
Well, I think part of the problem is it's been done so much in the past, everybody's kind of gotten used to the fact. Now that we're looking at things more closely, more clearly, I think that's a footnote to be discussed further, especially with the surveyors. You know, the criteria that we're most interested in tonight is on
Is the
here.
setbacks.
Is the setbacks. I think that's what's
That's correct.
prevalent in this discussion.
The aerial photograph does help
It does.
that they submitted.
It does help.
no, actually,
No,
we
I
printed
pulled
that out today.
George brought it to my attention.
Oh, we did?
There was a
Oh.
fence on the property. but
Hey, you
the
should have
fence-
submitted an aerial photograph.
But the fence had a permit also.
Yeah.
So that definitely is a footnote. I think in the future, you know, we'll discuss that, but I think the fence, the driveway is secondary to the primary concerns here. But that is something we need to look at. So George, I'm gonna ask, do you have any,
Yeah, my concern is, first of all, the fence is not shown. Second of all, the fence is non-conforming. You know, I don't understand how a building permit was issued for a non-conforming fence by the zoning enforcement officer, but apparently he either overlooked the bylaw or decided to ignore it. The point is, there is a non-conforming fence on the property right now, and my concern is that by issuing a special permit, we are essentially accepting that non-conformance as well, and I have a problem with that.
all right, do we know when the fence was installed?
2010,
And how do we know that?
from the building permit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can I see that, Ted?
It's more than 25% solid. It's approximately 4 feet tall, and it is it way exceeds the required setbacks for fences on corner lots. Even before the clarification that was put in last year.
All right, so is that a zoning issue, and is that relative to this decision, I guess is the
Well,
question.
again, by issuing a special permit, we're basically ratifying what's already there. And that's my problem.
Okay. Todd?
Was a building permit issued for the fence?
Yes.
Was it inspected?
I can't verify that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember. I know we pulled it, and I know an officer asked for it when they were putting it up.
An officer?
A police officer asked to see the building permit.
Really? They say why?
No.
That's interesting.
But as far as the setback for the fence, we're 6 inches off the property line with the short part of the fence.
The required setback for a fence on a corner lot is the same setback as the primary building. On any lot, it's the same setback as the primary building, and on a corner lot, it's the same setback as the primary building on both sides with the
My
streets.
understanding was if it was taller than 4 feet, it was a primary setback.
If
Which
it's,
is why it's a
or more than
4-foot.
25% solid, and that fence is clearly more than 25% solid. Again, this was approved by the building inspector in error, in my opinion. I don't want to hold the applicant responsible for errors by the building inspector, but, or omissions by the building inspector. But I just want to go on record that we're not approving the fence, we're only approving the addition when we issue the special permit. And I think that should be in the special permit very clearly.
And I think that was well said. I think that's, you know, unfortunately, we're not in charge of the building inspector. How he does his job is not up to us, unfortunately.
His boss is the Board of Selectmen.
Correct. I mean, I'm concerning myself with what I see in front of me. You know, I want to put an addition on there, not encroaching on the setbacks. The fence, again, is not important, but it's not germane to what they're trying to achieve tonight. So that's my humble opinion, but, you know, if somebody wants to make a complaint to the building inspector about the fence, that's fine. I don't think it's up to this board to in fact do that. So I've got mixed emotions. I'm inclined to vote for it only because I think, in my humble opinion, we're voting for the addition. The setbacks are not being encroached on. So for me personally, I don't have an issue with it, but the fence is another issue, a separate issue, if you will, from my train of thought.
If you want, I can include that. It's
Yeah,
a Section
in the
6
decision.
finding,
Yep.
proving that the addition is no more detrimental than the existing building as it sits right now, no more detrimental to the neighborhood. I can also say that, like George just stated, that the approval of the special permit does not approve the existing fence that was installed under the building permit issued on, and I can give the date of that and the number of the building permit if you,
Right.
if that
I think that would
makes
be
it
fair.
easier for you. I can do that
I
under
agree. Yeah, I
the
just don't
special permit.
want us to get in a position of, you know,
Mhm.
where
Overstepping.
we're automatically letting stuff that we know should not be there, you know, go by without making note of it at least, okay?
I can do that if that,
Yeah, I
if
think that
that's
would
what
be,
the board will
I think that would be helpful.
Mhm.
All right, is there any more discussion? All right, I'm gonna open up, because this is a special permit here, I'm gonna open up to the public. If you have any comments for or against, please state your name and address. Yes, sir.
Felix Pepper, 44 Marshall Street. I abut Dave's property, and I don't see any issue with this
Okay.
at all. I mean, it's not going to change a whole heck of a lot of what's already there, so we're good.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Christine Calabrese, 65 Norton Street.
Okay.
We live across the street from the Schmitz. I think the addition will be welcome into the neighborhood. They're great neighbors, and I approve the addition and also the fence.
Thank you very
They have
much.
2 small kids. They need that fence.
Okay, is there anybody else? Yes, sir.
Bob Hovitt, 17 Chisholm Street. I'm a neighbor, and we do have houses with garages with attached family rooms in the neighborhood, and I think it just improves the looks of our entire neighborhood to have this type of a property developed for us.
Terrific, thank you. Yes, sir.
Steve Castonway, 6 Laurie Lane. I live 1 block up the street. I'd like to also add my approval of the existing proposal.
Okay.
And I would like that if you reconsider, somebody does reconsider that fence, to consider it within the view that that's a corner lot on a very busy street, and especially anybody residing there with children. I think it's an added safety benefit to allow the fence to be what it is and then to be modified for the perhaps change in the driveway. But to ask them to remove the fence or to reduce it to less than what it is, to grant a variance on that issue. We've been in town now for 40 years. That's a very busy street, as I say, and previously some elderly were there, they didn't have children, but with the circumstances changing, I think with what everyone else has said, I think it'll fit in very well with the neighborhood. And that, again, the fence, although it's not conforming, as an added measure of safety.
Okay.
To that lot that is essentially light and lying fallow for as long as we've been in town.
Okay, yeah, I think as far as this board, we're going to address the addition issue. The fence will be a separate issue that's not part of this board. So right now, we're going to deal with the addition. The fence, whether you get complaints or whether zoning enforcement, challenges you on it or not, that's not up to us. And we're going to make a note of it in our record, in our special permit. So that way, we're done everything we're supposed to do as a board. You're covered as an applicant, and we've taken all the public's comments and consideration in our decision-making process. So, is there anybody else that would want to speak on behalf? All right, that's seeing none. I'm going to pull it back to the board. Anyone have any more discussion before we close the public hearing?
No, I think the addition itself is certainly not more detrimental to the neighborhood. I think it's actually going to increase property values there, so I think it's good.
All right.
I feel the same as George.
Okay. Ralph?
I'm good with it.
I'm good. All right, so can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I have a motion to approve the special permit pending the fence issue for Mr. Schmidt on Norton Street.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
You're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
20 days ago, John.
Yeah, 20-day fill period. I'm sure you knew that.
Do you want this, George?
No.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay.
Welcome. Welcome, you, sir.
21 days.
Start tomorrow. Okay.
Why is everybody leaving?
Okay, we're saving the best for last.
I have had them there.
Did I say that right?
There's only one to go.
That's right.
51 Prospect Street?
Yes.
Oh, is this a good one?
Okay, last up is sign request.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
51 Prospect Street.
Let's see, company name and owner, sign permit application, Shaler Photography, George Shaler. 51 Prospect Street, telephones are listed here. Square footage, area proposed signs, 8.2 square feet, double faced. It is freestanding. It is not attached to the building. Height above the ground is 9 to 10 feet existing. Projection, if any, is not applicable. If attached to the building, does the sign project over the pedestrian way? No. Setback from the property line, 5 to 6 feet. Distance to nearest side yard, 5 to 6 feet. Distance to top of sign above vertical wall is not applicable. Proposed sign is permanent. And, let's see, oh, it's not temporary, okay. Number of existing signs, 0. Number of proposed and existing signs, 1. Total square foot of proposed and existing sign, 8.2 square feet. The application's been signed. The estimated cost is $2,400. $600 for Shalers. I'm not sure what that means, but in any event, I'm not sure if it's applicable. That's it.
So I know we have a pre-existing non-conforming sign. Oh,
I'm not sure on that.
okay.
Was there ever a variance for this sign?
No.
Okay.
It's old.
Well, it can't be too old, because I pulled out the assessor's property card for 51 Prospect Street, and the building was built about 1979. Our bylaws went into effect in 1962, and under section 5.86, non-conforming signs. Any non-conforming sign legally erected prior to the adoption of this bylaw,
Which would be 62.
which would be 62, and the building was built in 79, I don't see how the sign was built 17 years before the building. So,
Was the original building knocked down?
even if it was,
I'm not sure what was going on at that particular time, because that piece of property is residential.
right.
It's one of those mixed.
Yeah, it's right at the edge, and from what I understand, there was a house there, and then there was, all of a sudden, there was a business there, and then the businesses just kept changing. Whether they received permits or not, I don't know.
Well, I think that given the building went up in 79 and no action has been taken against the sign or the building in the succeeding 35 years.
Well, it hasn't been changed, apparently.
Or challenged.
Or challenged.
What's the sunset, 10 years?
For what, a building permit?
Yes. Or, I guess in essence, a sign permit.
I mean,
Well-
the point is that
Even if we, go ahead,
the
sorry.
failure of the building inspector to take any action for 35 years is kind of constructive approval. I mean, quite frankly.
Well,
Certainly.
with that being said, let's assume it is a non-conforming sign.
Yes.
Such a sign shall not be enlarged, reinstated, altered, or the copy and wording thereon may not be changed in any way other than the normal maintenance and repair. And with that, I would say, I mean, they're adding another sign to it. Obviously, the lettering, everything's being changed. It would be my opinion that they would need a variance.
I wouldn't say bigger, Mike.
I would say more square footage.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is the nonconformance in this case?
The setback.
So if they're going to go with a whole new sign, can they achieve the setback on the lot they've got?
No.
No,
Visibility's
the only
like-
thing I can equate it to, in like I had said to Michael, was Frigo's, when that was the deli prior to. that was a pre-existing non-conforming sign, that if you made them put it 25 feet back, it would be in the middle of the parking lot, and you'd be past it. And so they received a variance, and that's how that Frigo sign was able to stay where it was.
Okay.
Same thing with this sign. If you put it back to 25 feet, because I think it's what,
20
like
feet.
5 feet off the property
5
line?
to 6.
Now,
It's more than that, because you got,
Yeah.
you're in the middle of a parking space here. I
But
think
there is
it's more than that.
visibility issues too. I drove by today.
it would be
Okay,
difficult.
I'll
Yeah.
talk.
Well,
Anybody, you guys did?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. My personal opinion, it hasn't, it's been there. Police haven't really said anything about it. If you push this sign back, they're not gonna see it. People just keep driving by, back and forth. So I think it's gonna be more of a problem, people turning around, the driveways down the end, coming back, driving back, coming back, going through the center. It's in a decent spot. There really isn't that, I mean, you can still see when you pull out, and there's not that much, traffic going in and out of this place anyways.
I don't think they'd have a problem getting a variance.
then I would suggest that we recommend they get a variance rather than,
Right.
we can't give a variance.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah,
I had to let them bring it to the board.
Reading
to make them
interpretation.
decide.
Do we need to deny this before they go for a variance?
Why don't we, can we table it?
And have them go for a variance?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of
I mean,
denying
that-
it.
I'll make a motion to table.
Paperwork and all that other stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table
Okay,
and recommend they go for a variance.
okay.
Do I have a motion or a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? George?
I'm sorry.
I made the
Angela.
motion.
Me. ZBA.
Zoning Board of Appeals.
There's a couple issues where it doesn't quite meet the criteria, so, with our bylaws, there's only so much flexibility we do have, and unfortunately, we're kind of being flexible, just allowing the pre-existing non-conforming.
Right, yeah.
So we'll recommend the variance. And,
Motion made, seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry if I'm carrying on.
It's okay.
All right, is there anything else?
Yes, there is.
There is,
Yes.
I think.
Just a couple of things. Friends of East Long Meadow Library have invited you to the 10th anniversary celebration to commemorate the grand opening of the new East Long Meadow Public Library. It's going to be held Saturday, May 3rd at 1 o'clock. Yes, I guess. I know, I thought I did too, but I really don't understand it. But they would like an RSVP, so it's Saturday, May 3rd. Ralph?
I will not be able to make it.
Okay. George?
I will probably be able to make it.
George, okay. Sandra?
Nope.
Michael?
I will not be able to make it.
I think I'm out of town.
All right. Very good. So George, perfect.
And that was a probable. I will get back to you in a day or two.
Perfect. The letter to Harbor Kids,
Okay, everybody had a chance to read it? Maybe
I
we'll-
sent it off to everybody, and
Oh, yeah, I
everyone,
read that one. Yeah.
everyone was
Everybody's
fine
good?
with it.
Yeah, I'm
So
good
you
with
just
it.
need to sign it. Mhm. And I need your approval for the procedure for transcriptions. I also sent that, and Tide added some to it, and
Didn't
Ralph
get to read that.
added some to it, correct?
Yes.
All right, so is everybody happy?
Good
what's
with it, yeah.
Been presented?
I'm good.
Like this official record, how we move forward?
And I will give that to Donna, so that she has it.
I'm good.
Okay.
Do you want a motion, or can we just kind of
You
agree?
can just approve it. I mean, there's really no motion. It's just as long as everyone approves it, then I'll just
Yeah,
give it
it's
to
good.
Donna, because it's
Okay.
just a
Everybody's happy?
procedure.
Yeah.
All right.
That way there's no question in her mind what
Right.
she's supposed to do.
And these are the
For us.
minutes of the 15th that I sent to all of you, and
Took me forever to review those.
you were all fine.
They should all be that short.
Yes, they should.
We
We're
have
all
about two
fine.
sentences.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the minutes of the 15th, April
Second.
15th.
Okay.
Sandra, you did an awesome job that meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, passes 4-0 because I was not here.
Okay. And Ralph, the minutes of the 25th, you did give Donna your
Correction.
changes, but did she send you a new copy? Because you had said before that was the problem, that,
I did not receive a new
all right,
copy.
then I'm not gonna have any of you look at it.
Okay.
Because that was one of the issues,
Yeah.
that you sent your changes.
Right.
You were never sent everyone's changes
Everyone's
for the
changes,
final.
right,
All right.
exactly.
Minutes of February 11th, has everyone?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good,
Right.
Ralph.
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
think
I
think
believe
I'm up
everything
to
I
date
had
on
was.
Everyone's good, all right. That does need a motion.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes
Motion to
of?
approve the minutes of February 11th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
In the minutes of the 15th. Those are the ones that are so hard to read.
These, it took me hours to get through these.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's right, yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at something else.
Do we approve these?
Yeah, we
You
did.
approved them, you
Yep,
just
4-0.
didn't sign them. And Ralph, Michael, when you were not here, the board,
Sabbatical.
in your absence.
Election day sabbatical.
In order to meet the timeline for the notice of appeal to the building commissioner's response with regard to Graziano.
Yep.
You had said that you had wanted to file an appeal.
Right.
The board agreed. I did put the paperwork in so that we met the requirement.
Okay.
Ralph wanted to talk about that because I have not set the hearing date yet. We
Okay.
have 65 days, so we had plenty of time to set the hearing, but I didn't want to lose out on the appeal
Okay.
time. So Ralph wanted to talk to
All right,
to
this
the
is
board
the
about.
issue with the frontage on one street.
Correct.
Product on the lot, that type of thing, that's, so we're all talking about the same
Well,
thing.
Yes.
Actually, the letter states that he is in violation of the frontage on Maynard Street. I believe the thought process was he has no access from Maynard Street. So with no access, he's in violation of the frontage. He does have 140 feet of frontage. He does have, in my opinion, access from Maynard Street onto the buildable portion of the lot, which, when you look at it, it's 30, 40 feet into the lot. I know there's product on the lot. I know we're not happy with it. I know he's not in compliance with the agreement that we sent, but I don't agree with us saying that he's not in compliance with the frontage. I believe he is. I believe when you look at not only the access, but the frontage, I think he's in compliance. And the reason I brought it forward is so that we didn't miss the deadline for the board to appeal it, but I just disagree with, I disagree with the letter the way it's written. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right.
I agree with you, and I'm gonna disagree with you. You're right, two wrongs don't make a right. We have subdivision control laws, we have paper street bylaws. The excess part of that bylaw, so emergency vehicles, when they get an address, they can respond to that address. Not get an address and say, okay, we can walk to it. That's not what the intent is. The intent is, when a house is on a public right-of-way, for argument's sake, in a paper street, before you're allowed to get a building permit, you have to put up a bond, you have to bring the road up to town standards. So emergency vehicles, postmen, what have you, can access the building. What Graziano's have done is, to circumvent the bylaw, he took the frontage on one street instead of bringing up the road to town standards on the other half. So he's getting both parts of it. Now he's got his business on the residential land. And the footnote is now that that grandfathered piece of land has been turned over residential land, the grandfather that went with that is now gone. So in my humble opinion, I don't think the lot that's being used right now for the business can ever be used for that business because the grandfather that it was entitled to is gone.
But that's not what we're looking at.
I understand that.
We're
My
looking
point being
at
is,
frontage, access.
right, the frontage is on Maynard Street.
And
Can
there's
I get a
100
fire truck from Maynard Street to the house?
There's 140 feet of frontage.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Now, with that being said, like what you just said, under an A&R, which we look at all the time, and which we just dealt with one, and my concern was access to the lot, because there was a wall across most of the front of it. In this case, there isn't. You know, there's plant material. The plant material is not planted. It's easily moved around on the lot. The only definition that we have to go by is one that's in our zoning bylaw, and access isn't identified. Under our A&R, when we do one, it says vehicular access to the buildable portion of the lot. Nowhere can I find in our zoning book says you have to have a driveway go all the way to your house.
Can I make a suggestion?
Certainly.
Here? Clearly, there's a disagreement between members of the board on this. There's a disagreement between the board and the building inspector and with the Grazianos. That's why we have a zoning board of appeals, okay? It's up to them to interpret the zoning bylaw and see whether or not what we're complaining about is in fact a violation, okay? I suggest we make our points and let them do their job.
Well said. Ty?
I agree.
Sandro?
Agree.
Ralph?
Okay.
I think that's a fair and accurate
And
assessment and way to go.
I need to look into what the procedures with the ZBA is, whether individuals can file a brief, separately from the actual appeal. I don't know what the process is.
I don't understand what you mean.
It's an appeal. Does the ZBA, as many appeal boards do, look only at the record, or do they take additional testimony?
They look at the record.
They don't take any additional testimony?
They will take verbal testimony if people want to stand up for or against, just like your public hearing. But this is from the planning board, and you give them the record as to the happenings, as is here, the complaint, the response.
Right. So if Mr. Page chose, as an individual, to present his point of view,
He can speak it. I'm not sure whether they would take anything written or not. I would have to check into that.
Yeah, he's certainly
But he
entitled
can
to speak.
absolutely
Yeah.
come and speak. Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Because he's not he's not an actual party. That's the only reason that I'm a little hesitant. I'm thinking of all of the appeals that
Yeah.
have happened in the past, and the people that have presented, for example, pictures and things like that, are the actual people that have filed the appeals. Now, anyone in the audience can say whatever they would like, and the board listens to them. But with regard to, an actual document, I'm not sure. I'd have to check into that.
okay, thank you.
All right, out of curiosity, as a member of the Board of Appeals, would I be representing the planning board, or would I be a member of the Board of Appeals in this?
You would be a member of the Board of Appeals, but I think you also would have to mention that it might be a possible conflict of interest, and then just make the determination as to whether or not you could be biased.
So in essence, my discussion may count, but my vote may not. Try to be fair. All right, is there anything else?
I do not believe so. I
Ralph?
think everything
good.
else is
George?
good.
You good?
Sandra?
Good.
Mr. Richard?
Great.
All right, the only one thing I have, I want to thank everybody for their kind words of support. I know we had a little election snafu. I got a lot of kind words, a lot of phone calls, and a lot of pat on the back, so I appreciate all that greatly. But now that's all behind us, so we can move forward and get to where we need to be as quickly as we
I think you're doing a great job as chairman.
So again, I want to say thank you, Angela. Thank you for your support as well.
I also have to say that kudos to both of you, Michael and Tide. The clerk was very happy that you were as kind in dealing with an unfortunate event as you were.
It's a mistake.
There's no other option.
But it could have, well,
It is what it
there
is.
really was.
Well,
It could have been horrible.
Yeah, but what's
but
that going to accomplish?
It doesn't, but that goes to show what kind of people you are, so,
All right.
you know.
We want results.
Move to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful.